Good morning friends and welcome to another video. In about 2 weeks I'm planning a long road trip and I decided to buy a new motorcycle. And in this video I will tell you why I sold my Royal Enfield Classic 350 and why I bought this new motorcycle in the background. First, to the reasons why I sold my Royal Enfield Classic 350. I did some tests on touring with the motorcycle and it's a very beautiful bike. It's very reliable. It gives you this special relaxed feeling when you ride it. It has a lot of character. It looks beautiful. You just can put it in your living room and just look at it all day. But there are two small things that I don't like. The first thing is the riding comfort on long distance rides. I did a lot of tests and for my height, I'm 188 centimeters. It's a little bit too small. It always depends on the rider's size, if you have long legs, short legs, upper body is long. But for me, the sitting position wasn't that perfect for long distance rides. For a weekend ride, no problem at all, very comfortable. But for long distance rides, for me personally, it was a little bit too uncomfortable. Also, the suspension is not that good. It's a little bit on the stiff side. So this was the first reason why I decided that the Classic 350 isn't perfect for me for long distance touring. The second reason is the lack of horsepower. The Classic 350 just has 20 horsepower and this for me is not enough. If it would be a little bit more, maybe around 30 horsepower with a top speed around 130 kilometers an hour, this would be perfect for me. But the 20 horsepower, especially when you are in the mountain range, it's not enough. It's really struggling hard, especially with luggage on it. And of course, the 20 horsepower just give you 110 kilometers top speed, which is not that much. And if you have luggage on your bike and you have some headwinds, then the top speed, sometimes it's just 100 maximum. And this isn't not that pleasant if you are planning to do some distances on the Autobahn too. Yeah, so these are the two small reasons why I sold my Classic 350. The lack of power, the just 20 horsepower, and the riding comfort for me as a tall rider on long distance rides. It's not a big problem. I mean, you can handle the bike wonderful on country roads, but I'm planning a trip also in the Alps, up the mountains. Yeah, so for me, a little bit more power was important and of course a good riding comfort on long distance rides because I will be on the road for a few weeks. So the search starts for a bike that could handle everything and it's very difficult. I'm very sensitive when it comes to the riding position on a bike. I don't know if you have the same problems with neck, the back. If you're getting older, then sometimes small problems start, which make you a little bit more sensitive to the riding comfort. So I test rode a lot of different bikes in all niches, like classic bikes, street bikes, adventure bikes, everything. So I was looking for a bike which is comfortable, has a good riding position for me as a tall rider, which has a good range, a good comfortable suspension, enough power to go also in the mountains. A lot of the bikes that I test rode are too heavy. Some of them, the riding quality wasn't that good for me. Some have not enough power, some I don't like the look. So, I mean, I think you know it. It's very difficult to find a bike that ticks all the points that you are needing. Yeah, and this bike in the background is the bike that I decided to buy. I will show you which one it is in a second. And this one ticks most of the boxes. It's reliable, it's very comfortable, it has a very good suspension, for me a very comfortable suspension, a good range, enough power for sure. It looks good, ticks most of the boxes that I was looking for. And I think it's time to show you my new motorcycle. Okay, so let's reveal my new bike. Surprise, surprise. And here it is, the Honda XL 750 Transalp. So this might be a surprise for you. It was a surprise for me too, because this was one of the first adventure bikes that I test rode, and this ticks a lot of boxes for me. It's a classic bike, not in the common way. It's not a classic looking bike, but it has a long history. The Transalp started in the 1980s, so it's a classic bike somehow, and this is a new version of it. Of course, it has a little bit of the DNA of the old 80s Transalp. And now I tell you why I bought the bike. The first thing that I noticed when I rode the bike was the seating position, and this is very comfortable for me. So I'm sitting quite upright. Yeah, the legs are in a good angle here. The handlebars are in a good position. The seat, it's quite comfortable. You can change your position a lot. You can go a little bit more backwards. You can sit at the front. So very good riding position for me. Just by sitting on the bike, it has a very good seating position for me, which is always important. And when I test rode the bike, I was really impressed by the riding comfort, not only seating position, also the suspension. The bike has a Showa front fork with 200 millimeters of travel. In the back, a single suspension with 190 millimeters of travel, and this is a lot. Compared with the Royal Enfield, which has, I think, about 90 millimeters in the back. I don't know how much at the front, I think it's 100, something like that. So the Honda Transalp gives me a very good riding position, very comfortable, upright, relaxed position, and a very comfortable suspension. Might not be the best suspension for off-roading, but I'm not planning to do off-roading, maybe some gravel roads, but that's it. But on the street, it's a very good suspension. And this was very important for me, that I have good riding comfort, especially when you're doing these long distance rides. The Honda Transalp has a lot of power. So absolutely enough, 92 horsepower and 75 Newton meters, which is, especially with the weight of the bike, absolutely enough. Another very important thing for me is the handling and the weight of the bike. The Classic 350 had a weight of 198 kilograms. The Honda Transalp is just 10 kilograms more. It's a 750cc engine, an adventure bike, which has just a weight of 208 kilograms. So it's a light bike, which is very good for the handling. You can maneuver it very easy. Also riding in the city, no problem at all. The bike has a very good range. It has a 16.9 liter tank. Fuel consumption will be around 3.6 to 4.2 liters, I think, depending on how you ride. So you will get a range of about 350 to, let's say, 400 kilometers, which is absolutely enough. Then one very important point for me, of course, is the look. I mean, I was never a friend of adventure bikes. That's why I was never looking for an adventure bike. When I did my last road trip with my scooter, I saw a lot of bikes on the way, and a lot of them have been adventure bikes. BMW GSs, Ducati, Yamaha Tenere, Africa Twin, just to name a few, KTMs. So a lot of adventure bikes, and I think many of these riders are not doing off-road. So I thought, why are they riding these kind of bikes? And now I understand it. It's the riding comfort. It's the seating position. It's the riding comfort that you get with these long suspension travel. You can put a lot of luggage on it. And if you really want it, you can do some gravel roads or some off-roading with these bikes. So it ticks a lot of points. And now I understand why a lot of people ride these kind of bikes. It's my first adventure bike now. In the past, I always preferred real classic looking bikes like the Triumph Bonneville or the Royal Enfield Classic 350. So this is my first adventure bike. It's a classic adventure bike. It's the Transalp, which has a long history, but of course it's looking a little bit more modern now, and it's a complete different style. I choose the black one. There's also this white one with the golden rims and blue and red color. So the classical one with the blue seat. I preferred the more neutral looking black one, and I think it's a good color, a little bit more decent than the white with the golden rims, but it's a very good bike, and it's a Honda, of course. It's very reliable. The engine will last, I think, for a long time if you take care about the oil changes and everything. So I'm really curious to start my road trip. And of course, I already did some modifications on the Transalp to make it a little bit more comfortable and usable for my long distance ride. And I will show you which modifications I already did. So let's have a look at all the modifications that I did on the Transalp 750. The first thing I changed, of course, is the windshield. I went for the tall Honda one. It's about 10 centimeters taller than the standard one, with the wind deflectors on it. And down here there are some additional wind deflectors which keep the wind away from your hips a little bit. Then on the front here you can see my additional LED fog lights, some crash guards on the top, and down here some crash guards and protection for the engine and the exhaust. And on the back I already have the mounts for the original Honda panniers, which will be here on the side and fit perfectly to the bike. And on the back there will be my trusty GV top case, the Tracker 58. And this is the GV mount especially for the Honda Transalp. Very solid. Everything is made out of metal. Gives me about 110 liters of luggage. This will be enough for my road trip because I'm traveling alone. Then I have the handguards. These are the original one from Honda, made out of plastic, so they will not give a very good protection for your levers and everything, but I'm not doing off-road, so I think this will be okay just to give a good wind protection. And I have the power outlet here, 12 volt, for my smartphone and my cameras. Yeah, that's it so far. Just a few modifications on the bike, but they will make it a little bit more comfortable. The bike is absolutely new, so I'm in the break-in period. I will give you a review when I rode it a bit longer. So my first impression is very good, a very good touring bike. Lots of comfort, lots of power, everything that I need for my road trip. And it will start in about 2 weeks. I just have to finish my break-in period and then first service. And after that, I can give you a more detailed feedback on the Honda Transalp, how it performs and if it's a perfect traveling bike. Of course, my Honda Transalp already got a name. All my motorcycles get a name. And there's a funny story behind it, because when I picked up my bike, brand new from the dealer, I took it off, it was sunshine, I started riding it. After 10 minutes, I got in a thunderstorm. It was raining so hard that the water was about 10 centimeters high on the street, and I had new tires, a bike that I didn't knew that much, and I was riding through the rain, and I got home safe and everything worked perfect, but this was really dangerous. And the same happened 4 times already. So always when I pick up my beautiful new bike, it starts raining. So I never went home without wet clothing. So of course the decision was made. The Honda Transalp gets a name, and the name is Rain. So my new motorcycle is revealed. It's a Honda XL 750 Transalp. And I think it will be a good companion for my next road trip. And if you are interested in following my upcoming road trip, then subscribe to the channel and don't forget to click the bell icon, then you get a notification if there is a new video online. And of course, if you like the video today, please give me a big thumbs up, and I see you in the next video. Ride safe, take care, and cheers.